A daily word from God for reflection. Many people today view the act of reading, studying, and memorizing God's words as a crucial task in their journey of faith. They find encouragement and strength in committing to memory different passages of Scripture, seeing it as a way to show devotion and reverence to Him. They often preach, teach, and share God's words with those around them, aiming to bear witness to their faith. Many believe that this act will earn them God's praise and lead them to salvation and perfection in their spiritual lives. However, the reality is far more complex. While they may spend a significant amount of time preaching God's words, their daily lives do not reflect the values and principles they preach. Many of them do not genuinely live according to the teachings they proclaim. Instead of allowing God's words to become a guiding light in their lives, they use them as a tool to demonstrate their knowledge and authority in front of others. They wield Scripture to assert their position and reputation, rather than seeking closeness to God and letting Him shape their lives. Instead of sincerely helping others deepen their understanding of faith, they turn preaching into a tool to satisfy personal pride and a desire for recognition. Many have mistakenly believed that they are truly living and walking in accordance with God's words simply because they can memorize Scripture, preach, and help others. They are confident in their understanding, thinking they have grasped the core principles of God's words and are walking rightly in His path. But when faced with real challenges in life, they realize that all the knowledge and understanding they've accumulated is merely superficial. What they thought they knew about God is only theoretical, with no real practical foundation or heartfelt connection. Their faith, when tested, crumbles like mist in the morning light. When God tests them, they are unable to face difficulties with courage because their faith lacks deep roots. The theories they once prided themselves on offer no help when real crises hit. The knowledge they've accumulated while studying God's words is insufficient to sustain a real relationship with Him. They don't understand that knowledge of God doesn't come solely from memorizing and preaching His words, but from living with fear and obedience to Him in all aspects of life. This misconception leads many into a subtle trap of pride and self-deception. They believe they've reached the pinnacle of understanding faith, but in reality, they are sinking deeper into misguided perspectives and illusions about themselves. They fail to realize that their knowledge of God's words is purely theoretical and holds no real value unless applied to their daily lives. What they say about God represents only a small fraction of the truth, and they have never truly approached His nature and true disposition. Some even believe that preaching God's words and helping others understand faith will earn them blessings and salvation from God. They may feel emotional and full of faith when teaching, and at times even believe they are experiencing His presence. But when real-life trials come, they quickly realize that this faith was merely an illusion. The words they once preached become useless when they must face real difficulties. They cannot find strength in God's words because they have never truly lived according to them. The resolutions they once expressed during their sermons turn out to be mere empty words, lacking a solid foundation to withstand trials. These individuals fail to recognize that salvation does not come from merely memorizing and preaching God's words, but from living a life that fears and obeys Him. They do not understand that a real relationship with God must be built on genuine communion, obedience, and humility. They cannot rely on confidence in their knowledge to achieve salvation. Rather, they must depend on reverence and a sincere love for Him. Perhaps the saddest part is that many of them still do not realize they are lost. They continue to preach, still teaching others about things they themselves have not fully understood. They fail to see that their knowledge of God is only superficial and that every day they drift further from Him. They are unaware that God does not value mere theoretical understanding, but He treasures a heart of obedience and genuine fear. Therefore, even if they spend their whole lives learning and preaching God's words, without truly living by those words, they still cannot achieve salvation. Instead of becoming those whom God praises, they become strangers, living under their own self-deception and unable to find the path to true redemption. Their efforts in the end will be in vain if they do not learn to live in obedience and reverence to God. Only when we place ourselves under God's guidance, live according to His words with fear and humility, can we walk on the right path. Salvation does not come from theoretical knowledge of the Bible, but from a personal relationship with God, where we learn to listen, obey, and live according to His will. Only then can we truly understand and experience His presence in our lives. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's video. If you found this content helpful and interesting, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the Bible Love channel so you won't miss any upcoming videos. Your support is a great motivation for us to continue providing more great content. See you in the next video.